here, and I am here to do my Dietitian Talk episode for you all. I'm here to give you my evidence-based opinions on some of the topics that you've asked me questions about. So for those of you that don't already know, I am a registered dietitian credentialed through the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. So for today's topic, one of the topics you guys asked me about was how to count your carbs. There's a lot of people that are very carb focused right now, and one of the hot topics is net carbs. And some people are asking, do I need to subtract the amount of fiber from the amount of total carbs, and how do I count that? Because a lot of people do track their macros right now. So I'm here to speak a little bit to that. Okay, so for net carbs, if some of you haven't heard that term, this term came about actually a little while ago, really when the low carb phase became very big, which was really the Atkins era, I like to call it, which was probably, that was probably back in the 90s now, because Robert Atkins, I think his first name was Robert, but anyways, he's been passed away for a while now. So when the Atkins era came out is really when net carbs became huge. Now, net carbs, there is not an actual legal definition for it, okay? There's no real set definition. The reason being, the FDA, when they look at food labels, they actually only look at the nutrition facts panel and make sure that that information is accurate. So this is where food marketers and advertisers and manufacturers can come in with their wonderful food claims and say whatever they want. And I know I've seen people on other sites be like, well, that's illegal, they can't do that. It's not illegal. It's food advertising and make some money. They can do whatever they want. So for instance, I'm going to reference, I've got here fabulous Quest bar, which I absolutely love these shits. They're delicious. There is a couple little advertisements on here, and where did it go? It's so teeny, I can't even, okay, you can see it. Only 3 grams of net carbs. Woohoo! So anyone low carb in it is like, hell yeah, only 3 grams of net carbs. So anyways, let's talk a little bit more about this. Like I said, anything that you see in that nutrition facts panel, that is what the Food and Drug Administration regulates. They look at that information, analyze it, and make sure it's accurate for consumers. Anything else, such as only 3 grams of net carbs, they don't really look at, okay? So in terms of net carbs, what is that? What am I talking about? The whole concept behind it is that you look at the number of grams of fiber that's in a product. So fiber is something that's contained naturally in plant-based things like whole grains, fruits, veggies. It's a soluble fiber that moves slowly through your digestive system, and much of it is not digested. So the thought is it doesn't really impact your blood glucose levels that much. Okay, so that's one part of this net carbs is fiber. Number 2 is sugar alcohols. Okay, so that's a big part of the Atkins stuff. If anyone out there has done the low carb Atkins diet, all the Atkins bars have tons of sugar alcohols in them. So you want to be careful and look at products for the amounts of sugar alcohols that are in it. There's a lot of different sugar alcohols out there. There's mannitol, xylitol, a bunch of different alls. They usually end in an all. There's a bunch of different ones out there, so you kind of need to do your research. Now here's the thing, with fiber, we know a lot about fiber. With sugar alcohols, they're not as widely studied, and actually the impact of sugar alcohols is it's not all equal, okay? It's not the same for each sugar alcohol. So what erythritol does to your body isn't necessarily the same as what mannitol does in your body. So how your blood sugar is impacted by those is not always known, okay? They can impact it differently depending on the sugar alcohol. And these things also have calories too, okay, depending on what sugar alcohols you're talking about. So sugar alcohols are an area we're not 100% sure with how it impacts our blood sugars. We do know, though, that some of them can have a very harsh laxative effect, can cause a lot of gastrointestinal pain as well, so you might want to beware how much you consume of those sugar alcohols. So, okay, when I'm talking about net carbs, what people do is they look at the number of grams of fiber and the number of grams of sugar alcohol. So on the Quest bar, for example, total carbohydrates is 21 grams, there's 17 grams of fiber, and there's 1 gram of erythritol, which is the sugar alcohol. So this isn't a heavy amount of sugar alcohols in here. So they get the 18 grams and subtract it from the 21, being only 3 grams of net carbs. So what does that mean? Like I said, the concept behind net carbs is not that you're not actually consuming those calories. You're still consuming the calories. The thought is that you're not impacting your blood sugar as much. You're not having as much of a spike. Okay, so that's great. That's great and all, but here's my thing with it, is we are all different individuals, and we don't know how different things react in our body. Like I said, with the sugar alcohols, how erythritol affects me may be different than how it affects you, and how your blood sugar level is influenced. And it's gonna be different for everyone. And how the hell are you gonna know how your blood sugar is being influenced by these products? There's really no way of knowing unless you're testing your blood sugar, and if you're a diabetic, this is a whole different video. You really don't know. Why are we making things so difficult? Okay? I think it's good to recognize how much fiber is in products, and I'll do another video speaking more to fiber. But in terms of net carbs, I think there's some things people just shouldn't worry about, and I think this is one of them. I think people will see net carbs, oh shit, I can have 4 of these, there's really only 3 carbs in it. False, you're wrong, that's not correct, all right? Look at the total calories. It's the calories, stupid, okay? I want a t-shirt that says it's the calories, stupid on it, all right? Let's not make things so complicated. This bar has 190 calories in it, 8 grams of fat, 21 carbohydrates, and 21 grams of protein. Let's leave it at that, okay? Or simplify it even more if you're trying to just lose weight and you're not even a competitor, and just focus on calories, okay? I think so many people, and I'm sure I might get some comments on here too, that want to nitpick apart every morsel of food you put into your mouth. And I'm here to tell you, you can do that with everything. Okay, I'm a registered dietitian, and what works best with people is balance and things that people can do for the long term. Net carbs, throw it out the window in my opinion, and this is my opinion, and this is my evidence-based opinion as a clinician, as a professional. Don't worry about it. I count those carbs. So for those of you that have asked me in the past, that's the answer I've given you. When I consume a Quest bar, and I do, I love these things, I count it as 21 carbs. I don't count it any differently than that, nor do I think you guys should either. All right, that's bottom line for me. I'm not gonna harp on it anymore. That's my opinion, and that's about it. I'm still gonna eat Quest bars, I like them, don't worry about it. I just think we need to settle down a little bit and not focus so much on these little details that food manufacturers are tricking us to think we need to believe is important. Okay, so remember, it all comes down to money. It's all a business, and sometimes they don't have the consumer's best interest in mind, okay? They're here to make money, so don't forget that. This is Dietitian Talk with Carolee83. I hope you like this video. Please give it a thumbs up, share it with others if you think they'll find it helpful, and please leave me more suggestions for other topics you'd like to see me do. So I'm eating my Brolicious lunch here. Macros are awesome on this. I went and got a New York strip steak from Wegmans. I was just craving steak today. I didn't want to feel restricted. I wanted to feel full and eat for volume today. So what you see here is 6.9 ounces